Welcome to Cards of Insight, where we discuss all things tarot. And I'm Greg, and I live in London.
Anna here, joining you all the way from sunny Brazil.
Susan here. I'm here in Canada.
And Pavlina, greetings from London, UK.
And we are all tarot readers. I was doing a reading today, and the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups came up. And if you look, they're actually quite similar cards, similar in meaning but not the same. In both cards, they're leaving. And I noticed in the Light Seer's deck, the card images are similar but not the same. You got a Light Seer's deck, Susan. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, I do have that deck, and it's definitely a different deck. And I'll just say that the deck itself is written by or created by Chris Ann, and they've produced a book about their deck. And as do a lot of people who create their decks, they can create a book or they can create an explanation of their cards. And I'll just say that Chris Ann definitely has a different view from the Rider-Waite in their meanings, because they actually blend more towards spiritual healing, that realm where Rider-Waite doesn't do that as much. But even in saying that, it doesn't mean you don't read it like you would normally read any Rider-Waite decks. And today we can certainly talk about how that information works per card.
Do you see any difference between, let's say, one card, the Six of Swords, from the Light Seers and the one from the Rider-Waite in terms of meaning through the different art? Because her art is very peculiar, right? Very nice, very modern. Do you see it gives different nuances or different, insights, the art itself, from what your original Rider-Waite would?
Well, there certainly it's a conversation here, that because you see in the Rider-Waite that the boat is actually leaving, and then you see in the Light Seer deck the boat is coming into the shore. Mm-hmm. So there's a different way, I guess, of looking at, okay, what is this message getting to? Are they the same, or are they different? That's where you have to, look more into the card and say, okay, is this the same as a Rider-Waite deck? Is it telling me the same thing? I feel that you can, like if you know your Rider-Waite, and if you're pretty sure of what that message is in your Six of Swords, you can certainly see the similarities that are taking place in the Six of Swords of the Light Seeker deck, even though they look quite different. I think you can see that the message is still the same.
I don't know about you, Greg, or Pavlina, or Susan, but I see these cards as works of art. So, as with any work of art, when you look at a painting, if you go to a museum, you get a message from that painting. You get a feeling from that painting that someone else might not get. I remember the first time I looked at this card here, and I saw they're ravens, I think, right? Bringing her to the shore. I remember reading, and I even got that passage written down, that ravens, they're very intelligent, but at the same time, they hold grudges for years and years and years on end. They're very resentful. They're a very resentful bird. If that is what would come to my mind, and the lady is coming to shore, I would almost see this as revenge, as payback, because she's holding grudges. See, she's holding that huge suitcase with all the baggage, and she has to settle some score. So for me, this art would not have that, getting to calmer waters. It would almost be the opposite. She has to solve some problems, resolve some issues, and that's exactly what she's going to do. But this is because of the art, right? Not really the Six of Swords as such, but the art in itself.
And I guess how I look at that, like I could see what you're saying, Anna, if that card was reversed, because then I would say that the ravens are definitely working against her. Whereas when I look at this, I see the ravens, they're bringing her into shore. She has requested help, and here they are. They're pulling her in. So they're pulling her in. They're taking her from being out in the middle of the lake or river or wherever she is, and they're bringing her into shore. That's the difference there. She's not, like, the ravens aren't working against her. That she's got a suitcase in this case. So she still has her baggage with her. So the birds might even be saying, well, you got to leave that baggage. Like, once we get into shore, you've got to put aside your baggage. So I think she's coming from a dire situation, and the birds are saying, okay, we're going to bring you in because you're not capable of doing it yourself. So we're going to help you. And if you look at the Rider-Waite deck, you have someone actually pushing you.
Yeah, yeah.
Pushing. So that's how I look at the ravens. They're actually helping, whereas in Rider-Waite, he's actually pushing.
That's precisely what I think this whole episode is about. It's the way we see things. In my case, I never use reversals. I don't like reversals. To me, depending also, we're doing this in a vacuum because we're not coming up with a question, right? I think it all depends on, what is being asked. But for me, this is more of a, let's say, quote unquote, negative stance. But for you, it will be positive, which is perfect. I mean, this is what makes, each reader unique. I mean, the way we see things, the way we explain things. Any takes? Anything you see here?
Yeah, the only thing I can see here is a big difference. There are more people on the boat in Rider-Waite deck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know the ravens are, pushing the boat on Light Seer's deck, but there are 3 people on the boat. It's like the person is not alone.
You know what I noticed in the Light Seer's deck? I was just having a look at it. She's got no way of rowing that boat. Because in the Rider-Waite deck, you've got a person steering the boat using you can call it a stick to push you along. But in the Light Seer's deck, there is no stick, there's no driver. She's got no rows. That's what I mean.
And
So,
that's why the birds are there.
Yes. Now, has she actually been brought there out of her own free will, or did she actually need rescuing? Who's to say that she was actually, or he was actually forced to go to that island? Perhaps, maybe they were forced because she had no option, or maybe she was stuck. That leads me to question, well, did she go there, or did he go there because they wanted to go there, or because they had no option? So again, it goes down to the question that you ask. And also, I think that the cargo in the 6 of Swords from the Rider-Waite is more precious than the cargo in Light Seer's deck. The direction of travel, because in the Rider-Waite deck, the 6 of Swords is leaving, and in the Light Seer's deck, they're arriving. I would argue and say, are these 2 different points in time? The Rider-Waite tells you before the person's left, whereas the Light Seer's deck tells you more of once the person's arrived. Because in the Rider-Waite deck, we don't know if that person's going to get to the destination safely.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Light Seer's deck, we know that they got to their destination, because I'm seeing it as different points in time, as a time thing. So the Rider-Waite came before the Light Seer's deck, so to speak. I say that from the art.
You see, on Light Seer deck, you can see she's ready for the arrival because she's holding her hair from the wind. And she wants to look pretty. She doesn't want her hair tangled. If you've been in Scotland at the shore, you know how does it sound. You have to hold your hair. So she wants to look pretty. On the other hand, in Rider-Waite deck, you can't see any hair or facial expression of the people. They are really leaving.
And that's the other thing, when you notice in the Light Seer's deck, she's standing, which to me says, yes, she's arriving. The birds are bringing her into shore. So she's getting ready to get off the boat because she's got her shawl wrapped around her. And like you said, Palvina, she's holding back her hair. She's holding onto her case to basically jump out of the boat as soon as she arrives at the shoreline. So yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Not to mention a detail. there are three strings attached. And that might also mention that there are strings attached. She's arriving at the shore because of something. I mean, it's not a trip because she wants to relax. There are things, involved. There are people involved here, really. And if you consider three birds pulling such a boat, such a massive, it's kind of big, through those three very thin strings, it's interesting. I mean, it's almost like wishful thinking. That string would tear. It wouldn't be able to stand the weight of the boat. These strings attached, they're very important. They have a lot of strength, and that's what's making her move from one place to the other. Now, why is she doing that? That's a different story. You might have a card after it or before it, and it depends on the reading again. But yeah, very interesting.
That's a good observation, Anna. But I also look at the water. Like if you ever think about coming in and your sea is, rough or river's rough or whatever, that water's pushing her in. And all the birds have to do is guide the boat in. But I do agree that there could be issues that she has to deal with. There are strings attached, like you said. So she's not clean. She's got things that she does have to deal with. But I think it's saying, okay, where the birds are probably minimally guiding her, just making sure the boat is straight, not on its side. And the water is actually pushing her in. The waves are pushing into the right direction.
You see, because there are three ravens there, maybe you should ask the question, are those three friends of yours? Who's the mystical creature?
And you have three that are leaving. So three coming and three leaving. So.
Yeah.
Can I ask what ravens represent or mean to use? Because I have no idea. I see them more as a nasty crow.
Well, for me, they're intuitive. I think they're an intuitive bird. So they're a smart bird. I would say the shadow of yourself. It could be intuitive messages. So there's more to do with the psyche, I think, than anything.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty resourceful too. They're thankful, they're resourceful, but on the negative side, they're very resentful as well. So you don't mess up with the raven and expect it to forget. It won't forget. And apparently it tells, let's put it this way, the other members of the family what happened. And they kind of share the resentment too. So it's a tricky bird.
And the fact that there's three birds leaving, maybe those birds they're satisfied. They've said, we forgive you, we're moving on, but there's still the other three that she has to deal with. And in a sense, when it says Six of Swords, and there's the three birds and the three strands, so that could depict the Six of Swords. In a sense that you get in the Rider-Waite, you have those six swords planted in the boat. So here's your Six of Swords.
What was the second card, Greg, you had?
The second card I had was the Eight of Cups. And in the Rider-Waite, it's a person with their back towards you, walking away. And the cups have already been stacked, nicely in a row, 5 on the bottom and 3 on top. But there's a gap in the 3 on top. And he's walking away, and it's at night. But I was wondering what that would look like in the Light Seer's deck.
Well, you've got the young woman. She's walking away from the Eight of Cups, or the cups, I should say. And in this sense, these cups are dropping or submerging into the pool of water that she's walking. It seems that she was in it. Now she's walking away, and she's walking towards the sun. So it's like where you have the moon in the Rider-Waite, it's like something's brightening for her. So she's leaving behind issues that are dealt with or almost dealt with, because you have that one still floating in the water, the pool of water, and still in flames. So it's the thinking is it is probably going to sink the further that she walks away from the pool of water. But it's the fact that the surroundings, like where she's walking to, you can see it's much brighter, like where it was murky and darker. the pool and the green grass or whatever is around it, it's as she walks that's getting much brighter and the sun is coming into being.
They're leaving at different times of the day.
Yes, yes.
In the Rider-Waite deck, the Eight of Cups is leaving at night. In the Light Seer's deck, that person seems to be leaving early in the morning. Well, is it early in the morning or is it late afternoon? I think the conditions that the Light Seers left in were a bit worse than they were for the Rider-Waite, I would have thought, because one of you pointed out earlier how the other candles have sunk, if that's a way to put it. And obviously could read the writing on the wall and left before the last candle could sink. Could be a person that's smart or someone that was informed, or could see the writing on the wall, so to speak.
You see, you've mentioned different time of day. I think it's a completely different time set because in Eight of Cups, for me, there is always eclipse. It could be lunar or a solar eclipse because they are merging together. And on Eight of Cups in Light Seers, it's sunrise. And, it's like summer for me because she doesn't have a shoes. But in Eight of Cups, in Rider-Waite, it's like, autumn, maybe starting the winter.
And Rider-Waite, he's got a walking stick. And in the Light Seers, that person's walking barefoot.
But she seems to have a feather in her hair. It looks like a feather. So there's something, some people look at it as being like an angel, a feather message when you see a feather. And just because it's, that this deck is more about spirituality, that might be what that feather is about, because it's in her hair and she's wearing like a white outfit where the Rider-Waite has got a person in a red cloak.
I don't know. I always wondered why people always draw the Eight of Cups with the person with the back to us. I would really like to know what they're looking like, what their faces look like. If they're distraught, if they're happy, if they're, I don't know, positive about things. Because the way I see this lady here is that she has her back to something that is still burning. She isn't over that yet. It's not like the guy in the Eight of Cups from the Rider-Waite, where all the cups are there. They're apparently all empty, and he knows they're empty and he's leaving. But this girl, there's still a flame there, and she doesn't want to look at it. She doesn't want to face it. It's still floating. But she probably feels that with all the drama, I don't know, I see all that water submerging the candles, talks about too many emotions. I mean, there was so much water in this relationship that the flame couldn't stand. It's almost like a fight of elements. There's not enough fire, but there's too much water, and it just kind of destroyed everything. I don't see her as happy. I see her as hopeful that something will get better in the future. But her heart is not free and light. And yes, I'm going to find the love of my life, or I'm going to find something better for me. She's trying to believe that there is something better out there. You see, she's stepping with her right foot, which is saying, okay, I will begin better next time. I have decided to do it better next time. Her hair is not loose. Hairs that are not loose, for me, hold a lot of secrets, a lot of things that were left unsaid. There was not a lot of communication going on between her and that flame there, whoever the person might be. It might be an ex-boyfriend, it might be a family member, God knows. She's leaving because she needs to stop suffering, but not because she knows she will find something better. She hopes to, but she cannot know that. She's not 100% in it. That's how I see it.
See, it's different for me, because when I look at the Light Seers, I see that as I get a sense of abandonment. This person, I don't really see someone abandoning someone, but they've abandoned it because they jumped ship before the ship sank. They could read the writing on the wall. They can see it's just going to go belly up is a phrase people would use. Or so, and to me, it's more of an abandonment. That's why the person's going, and probably smarter than the rest and left before the others. May have left it a bit long, but who's to say that the person wasn't trying to save it? And that's the reason, that would be their reasons for leaving, which is different from yours.
I feel in this card she was born again because she's come out from the dark times. Because look at that, she's in the circle of the net or web cobbles or something. She's walking out from that. So I think she decided to leave it behind.
Yeah, she's definitely leaving something behind, and she may not have completely finished. She might, but she is finished. I think the situation may be still going on, and she, like if it's a, say, a divorce or whatever, or family situation, and she's saying, well, there's nothing more I can say or do here, but I'm done. I know I'm done. So that's why she walks the way, but she's still, like you said, Anna, she's got, her hair is tied. So she's not completely finished with the situation, the emotions there, but at the same time, she's not healed, but she's looking and saying, okay, I have to leave this because I have to change my life. I have to move on because the situation may not be changeable, but it is for her.
Exactly. She might not think it's worth saving. She might be going, it's not worth saving this. It's just, I need to move on. Is it worth saving? No.
So next card was?
Okay, now we have a different pair.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
This pair would be the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. In the Rider-Waite depicts a woman in the Nine of Pentacles and a man in the Nine of Cups. But here we have two women, which doesn't make much difference, at least to me, is how I see the cards. But let's start with the Nine of Pentacles. What do you see here?
I see herbalist. Yeah, it's the herbalist in Nine of Pentacles in Light Seer. She's a healer, herbalist, free spirit.
Oh, you think she's a herbalist? Good point. Because of
the hanging herbs and mantras. Is it the mantras? Or what is those?
mandalas, maybe?
Mandalas, yes.
Mandalas, yes, thank you.
Yeah, because she's smiling there. She's looking very positive and reaching up towards, I think it's a falcon. So she looks like she's very content, I would say, in what she's doing, and she's preserving with the herbs.
How different would this card be from the original Rider-Waite?
The difference is, for me, in the Nine of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite, there's a sense of entitlement, maybe inheritance. But whereas in the Light Seer's deck, I would say that person probably worked for what they have and earned it, because you can see they've got the coin in the pot. So they've obviously grown it or prepped it. And it just looks like they've put more effort in. That's what it seems like to me. The Light Seer seems like a person more deserving and enjoy, the fruits of their labor. Because you enjoy things more when you've worked for them, haven't you? Instead of just...
Yeah. Less dependent on somebody to provide for her.
Yes.
Right? Less dependent. Yeah.
Yes.
A self-made woman.
Because when I look at the Light Seers, it looks like she's done everything herself. Like she's hung those coins up from got up on a ladder and hung those things up. All those coins. Put the other coin in a pot. And to me, there's been a lot more effort. Whereas in the Nine of Coins or Pentacles in the Rider-Waite, somebody's done that for her. That's the difference to me, the way I view it.
She's definitely more spirited because the falcon is fully dressed up on Nine of Pentacles in Rider-Waite deck, and over here it's flying. Free spirit.
Yeah, and it is free. It doesn't look like it's a falcon that has to obey her commands. I mean, you go, and then when I call you, you come back.
Yes. Yeah, the other on Rider-Waite, the bird has a hood over it. So in order for it to fly, she has to remove the hood, which kind of maybe tells you something, like you were saying about the woman. The woman here is that she could be a kept woman, or she may have received whatever she has from inheritance. So it's not like she necessarily worked for what she has here. So she's got she's got them all around her feet, whereas the other one, they're up in the air. There's a big difference there. The other woman is she's probably hung those herbs and hung the mandalas, a much more vibrant depiction. And the bird is free, it's got its wing outstretched, and it doesn't have a hood on it. So very different personalities, I would say, in the card.
And in the Nine of Pentacles of the Rider-Waite, I always thought that the falcon there was a projection of what the woman was. I mean, she was let loose whenever the breeder or the trainer wanted. So she could go out whenever he decided, and she could come back whenever she should come back whenever he decided. So as you said, a kept woman, absolutely. Besides, she's wearing that yellow rubber glove. I mean, that's again, it's a sense of, protecting yourself. And the other one, she doesn't need protection. She's holding everything with her bare hands because she made those. She wants the falcon to be free. And also something interesting, I agree with Greg when he said, I think Pavlina said too, she made it. She made these things herself, so she values them. And because of that, she knows that there are 4 seasons and that winter may come. So that's why she keeps her herbs there so that they get dry and she can use them when times are tough. So she knows the value of what she worked for, and she knows how to preserve things and use them wisely. So much more independent, in my opinion, than the one in the Rider-Waite.
Nine of Pentacles in Rider-Waite deck is definitely more obsessed with money. Look at that background. It's yellow everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. See.
Money,
Yeah.
money.
A lot more materialistic.
Mm-hmm. The grapes are all ripe.
Yes.
But I bet you she didn't water those grapes, did she? The gardener watered those grapes. But in the Light Seers, she's watered them herself. I just get that impression. And the colours too. Colours. The happy colours.
For me in Light Seer, she's inside of the castle. She's not outside.
Yes, I would agree with that, because usually your herbs are you're drying them inside, unless it's a really warm climate, I would think. But usually on the inside, you're harvesting them.
Good point. She could be inside in the Light Seers, yes.
Not making wine though, like in Nine of Pentacles, because you have a grapes
No.
there.
They've got the grapes, but she's not harvesting them.
No, she's not. She's not.
You see, in the Light Seers, there's a book behind her, and she's still learning. So she also understands that you never stop learning. I mean, you made it, but you have to still continue learning and making more and more until you reach, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, and if you look carefully, you see the candle in the corner and the bowls of prepared herbs, like you guys pointed out earlier. I would say that this person could be a herbalist, because if you look behind
that's what
the pot,
Pavlina said.
yeah. So the more you look, the more you.
Maybe she's good at spices as well. That's so maybe she's making potions.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
grinding them.
Yeah.
That's usually what you use a bowl for. You usually grind them. And in the Rider-Waite one, she's, you can see in the background there's a castle or house for sure, but she's surrounded by, looks like it's a hedge. Usually grapes are more of a hedge, or they have a vine, right? They're growing on a vine, which is held up. So even though she has things, she may not be totally content, because this is not something she provided. It was, maybe she's, like I said, a kept person. So therefore, they're there. It's a wonderful surroundings, but she may miss the contentment that the other light seekers have. She's far more content, far more happy than the Rider-Waite Nine of Pentacles.
Okay. Should we jump to the Nine of Cups?
Yes, wine merchant.
Yeah.
Nine of Cups. Pavlina says he's a wine merchant.
In Rider-Waite deck.
In Rider-Waite, yeah. And in the Rider-Waite deck, it's a bit smug. But I was wondering what it looks like in the Light Seers. Because in the Rider-Waite, he's sitting in his chair, looking all smug with his legs apart, arms folded, and the cup's behind him on display. But I want to know what's behind the curtain. And that's the Rider-Waite, the Nine of Cups. But I don't know what it looks like in the Light Seers. So we'll have a look.
Well, in the Light Seers, you have this woman jumping into the air, and all the cups are like, whether she's flung them up in the air, they're all up in the air. And you see this brilliant light. And below her feet, there's a chest filled with jewels or filled with necklaces, all gold anyway. So it's like she's won something. It's a very, like, that person is definitely very happy, because there's almost saying like, yippee, I've won, I'm happy. And it's a materialistic card, the similar as the Rider-Waite, I believe, but it's a different kind of joyfulness. Like, you see her joy, where you see the smugness in the Rider-Waite. He's smug. He's very content, but he's more smug, whereas she is celebratory over the events that are taking place.
I see a sense of secrecy as well. You see, in the Rider-Waite, the Nine of Cups, I want to know what's behind that curtain. And I think if you know the password, he might show you what's behind the curtain. But he's more secretive. He doesn't tell you everything. Whereas in the Light Seers, this person is open. You see everything that they have. They show it and they're proud of it. No secrets with the Light Seers. Because in the Light Seers, a person is jumping in the air. They've got their treasure chest in view and it's open. So there's a sense of trust as well, and happy to display what they have, and like throwing the cups in the air and the ray of sunshine in the background, or beam of light. A much more friendlier and open card. Whereas the Nine of Cups, I don't know if I trust him in the Rider-Waite, trust him that much, because he's got secrets. He doesn't tell you everything. For me, that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, and also I see this, the way she's spreading the cups. It reminds me of, some scenes where the man is happy or something happy happened to him, and he goes into a bar with his friends and he says, I'm paying tonight. So everybody can drink. It's on me. I'm here to make everybody happy with me.
Well, you buy drinks, that's a good way to make everyone happy.
Yeah, see, this lady, she is willing to share her happiness with others. She's not keeping it to herself. She prefers to share it with others because it makes it even bigger. I mean, as you said, I mean, the gold is there. I mean, if you want some, if you need some, just go get it. I think she's kinder.
Ah, yes.
She's more loving than the other one.
So the Nine of Cups in the Rider-Waite, you'd have to buy that cup off of him. You have to pay money for that cup, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got his arms crossed, so it doesn't look like he's sharing.
No.
It's not going to be enough. He's got cross arms saying like, okay, how much this be? Not enough money, what you are going to offer.
Yeah, these are my 9 cups, not yours.
Yeah.
Look, but don't touch.
Yes. Whereas the other one, she's flinging them.
Yes.
I don't know why Nine of Cups. For me, this environment looks like the sea for me. No, she found a secret treasure and she wants to share it with everybody.
To me, it looks like beer. Look at the top.
Yes, it could be.
Doesn't it look like when the beer reaches the top of the glass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be that too. It's joy. It's a joyous card.
The cups are about water and emotions. So yes. So it's, the joy, the sharing, and the emotions of high glee. Look at me. Look what I have.
I think there is one more secret hidden, because look at the shadow of her dress. There is something more behind her. There's like different shade on the back of her dress. There could be more secrets behind her to be revealed and shared with other people.
Yeah, how did she get those cups?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the secret. That would definitely be the secret. How did she get those cups, or how did she earn those cups? Because it doesn't have to be, say, a negative. It could be a, what efforts did she had to do in order to get those cups? And because it's emotional, it might be something that she went through.
Yes. For me, she's a definitely dive master here. Like to dive for the treasure.
And where did she get that? Where did she get that chest of gold from as well? She's happy to show off her emotions. She's throwing in the air, but the gold's in the background. I think maybe her emotions are more important to her, how she feels about things, than actual materialistic things. Because she's not showing off her materialism. She's showing off her emotions.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So she cares about her feelings. Well, she's throwing cups around and not money around, and not because she's financially sensible. It's because the emotions. She's more driven by her emotions than she is finances.
Yeah, it's definitely a card of joy.
Yeah, definitely.
Joy, sharing. Maybe it's almost like a play with words. I mean, what she actually values, which is the riches at her feet, are the people she loves, showing all the cups there. So that's where the value lies.
Exactly.
It's not,
yes.
otherwise it would be a pentacle card, right? If we're talking cash, we're talking money.
Yes, we're
It
talking
wouldn't make
cups
any
here.
sense. Yeah. It wouldn't make any sense to have a fixation on money on a cups card.
But if you look at the chest, it could be 10 of cups because there is another cup inside of the...
Yeah, good point. The grail, the holy grail. that's the holy grail. Yeah.
Which says something about the Rider-Waite, because he's celebrating his drink, if you want to say. So it's not about property, it's about, celebration. And he's holding all the drinks, how you line them up in a bar and say, have one, then I have two, then I have three, etc.
And as a sequencing, it doesn't make much sense to me. If you take the Rider-Waite, that Nine of Cups is a solitary card. It's the selfish happiness. I am happy by myself. I am happy being with myself and having what I have, conquered or accomplished or whatever. How can you jump from that to a 10 of Cups where you have wife, kids, picket fence, dogs? It doesn't make much sense. I mean, how did he jump from that 9 to that 10? Now, in the Light Seers, it makes more sense. This lady is, showing all the cups and people she cares about, and then eventually, she will end up in the 10 of Cups situation. So it's a smoother transition. It makes more sense to me. It's more logical.
Yeah, because she's sharing what she's got from the Nine of Cups into that 10 of Cups, which brings her family together.
It's a beautiful card.
Yes.
Yeah, well, art does make a difference. And each creator will obviously put their own spin on.
You see, and also I haven't seen this deck before. So that's why it was really good exercise for me and try and blow them up and look at them big. I've never read the book or anything. And if I had this deck and I used them more, I would be able to get some more information from them. But very importantly is the first thing that Anna pointed out at the beginning of our discussion. We have to work with a question, because as soon as you put a question to it, you'll be able to dig out a lot more information from them. That's just us on a blank sheet, and how different people perceive the different symbolism from each different unique person. We're all different. So that was an example of how we see things differently. So I hope that helps. I've never read the book from that deck, and I enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yes, I will explore this deck as well more. It's fantastic. Shout out to the author.
Chris Ann.
Chris Ann.
And they have a number of decks, just not this deck, but this one is definitely I think their most popular deck.
You can also see it's a lot more updated deck.
Yeah, modern take. Yeah.
I mean, I know the Rider-Waite's an old chestnut, but I do like it. I'm really sorry. It was my first deck I learned on. I don't know. I just like them.
But Light Seer is second.
If anything, it's given Chris Ann and many other authors out there a starter point, because I mean, how many hundreds and hundreds of decks have been built or created from the Rider-Waite? So you need those basic understandings from the Rider-Waite in order to build a deck. It has the same meanings in many ways. It has the same meanings, but it's just another take, another perspective.
So see you next week then, right? With more topics.
Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and follow us. And feel free to leave a comment.